Friends, how you doing? We are live. Rusty with you here. CFLW, the show for this Friday, April the 4th. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are going good for you. Hope you've had a nice afternoon here so far. It's going to be a hot one. We've got a lot to talk about in the show. We'll get you prepared for what's going on this weekend and then talk about how that nasty weather to our north and west, which is really bringing some treacherous weather to portions of the Tennessee Valley right now, is going to be influencing our weather. CFLW, the show, as always, sponsored by the lean law firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They cover the entire state. For the Panhandle to the Keys, anything that can impact you or your property, they're going to walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. Friends, they are the sponsor of the channel, and their website is on the bottom of your screen. You see that logo. Go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Good to see you guys on a Friday. I took myself off camera instead of hitting that button as well. Well, it's clear to see exactly what the big story is right now in our area, and that is the heat. I mean, it is already getting juicy outside. It certainly feels a lot more like the end of May rather than the beginning of April. Temperatures here as we hit 1 o'clock have been able to already climb into the upper 80s along the western side of the state. Tampa coming in at 88 degrees right now. There's a fairly solid fresh breeze. It's all out of the south. Dew points are in the upper 60s, so we'll look at the heat index coming up as well, but it's not pretty, you know. Now, if you like just the outrageously hot weather already, you're going to enjoy the weekend forecast. There's no doubt about that. We've got 88 right now, or 86 in St. Pete, excuse me, 86 in the Lakeland area right now. Zephyr Hills coming in at 86. Again, dew points are in the 60s. We're trying to keep the humidity up to keep the wildfire threat down a bit. But obviously the breeze is not a fantastic thing because of that. 86 in Orlando right now with a dew point of 64, I believe is what I saw. 84 in the Sanford, Oviedo areas there and towards DeLand. Titusville coming in at 84. You want slightly cooler air. It's going to be along the East Coast. If you notice, when we get down towards the Melbourne, Palm Bay area, the slight touch of the easterly breeze is bringing in the quote-unquote relatively cooler waters of the coastal Atlantic. So that is going to help drive in just a little bit cooler air in place. It's going to help a little bit, especially over the weekend as well. There will be a bit of a difference from what we're going to see temperature-wise from along the coastline to interior sections, but I don't really care where you are. Get in store for a hot weekend. Great to see you guys. While you're here, do me a quick favor. Like the live stream. Let me know in the comments section below where you're viewing from. You just want to drop in and say hi. As always, I appreciate you guys giving me that opportunity to interact with you. That's why I do this. Love it as well here. Let me bring up the visible satellite imagery here. I'm going to bring that up. And we'll take a look at what's going to be happening here. Just need to resize something here in the background. Made something too big. And let's bring these up as well. So we're in store for what's going to be a pretty nice afternoon, although it's going to be on the hotter side. Look, there's no doubt about that, right? Visible satellite imagery of the last couple of hours. We'll put this into motion for you guys. You can see that the progression of our very thin clouds out there are going to be out of the south and east and almost turning a little bit out of the south. Again, in interior locations, you're just going to kind of get streets of clouds to develop here. All fair weather, and obviously it's going to be on the warmer side. Look, temperatures today start off in the 60s. And even right around 70 degrees. At least we didn't have to have the fog, right? Boy, that fog was really treacherous earlier in the week. But it's just going to be a very hot forecast. Hey, Blue Goose, how you doing? 86 right now, 58% humidity. Appreciate the update there, Blue Goose, in the St. Augustine area. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful afternoon. Now, again, it's all depending on whether you enjoy this kind of heat, but that is going to be the story for today and through most of the weekend. But I do have some changes we're going to have to get into here and the opportunity to see some showers and storms coming into the area as well. Since it's such a gorgeous day, I'm not going to bury the lead here. What do you say we take a live look to our cameras? We'll get started in the Lake Conway area for you right now, southeast side of downtown Orlando. Beautiful fair weather clouds, bit of a breeze. Again, everything's going to be out of the south, but just a gorgeous day. A little bit of a ripple on the lake as well. So again, you're getting out and about for today. There's going to be a fairly fresh south wind, which will actually only get a little bit stronger as we go through the afternoon hours, but looking really good there. Live look to Winter Garden, even clearer skies, just a few fair weather clouds in the distance at the hour. No rain for today across the area as well. We're looking really nice Again, just a gorgeous shot. This camera looking off to the west for the western sides of Orange County, and a beautiful view there. Maybe you want to get to the attractions for today. So many folks do here in our area. Live look to our Disney cam. Again, this camera is located just 1 mile from the Magic Kingdom, and we're actually looking back towards Disney property here from this view. Again, a little bit of cloud coverage in the sky. It's those streets of cloud I mentioned, but again, no real vertical development to it today. But maybe you want the clouds. Maybe you want a little bit of shade, as hot as it's going to be. We also have gotten some kind of early predictions for the hurricane season, and I'm going to pass that along for you guys as well. Hey, Highland Weather, how you doing? Came across your YouTube channel a few months ago. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you, Highland Weather. If you don't mind me asking, where are you located? Because Highland could mean many different things. First of all, I grew up in Florida. I'm obviously back home, but I've worked as a television meteorologist across the central and the eastern sides of the country, but love to go out west and visit as well. So just let me know where you're doing from. See if we have a connection there. Appreciate you tuning in as well. Thank you guys very much for that. All right, so let's get out to, again, what's going on here for today. Let me get back over to the weather computer. I mentioned the heat index. Let's bring that up. Again, it's going to loop, so let's get to the latest time frame here. Now, this time of the year, with the dew point still being relatively low, we're not going to have an exceptionally high feels like temperature above the actual number, but I did want to point out that even at 1 o'clock, Tampa is already up to 91. Same thing for the St. Petersburg area. It's grossly hot there for early April right now. I mean, it feels like temperature that's already above 90 degrees, and it's not going to stop. You know, we're going to have a fair amount of sunshine. And look, we're past daylight saving time. Temperatures are going to warm through the 4:30 hour at the earliest to see the temperatures kind of level off and then drop off. So we've got several more hours before things finally begin to come back down. Winds at the hour, as far as gusts go, not really reporting anything. Let's put it into motion over the last few hours and see. So we've had some breezes, but there's been no true gust for today as well. I do expect winds to be picking up a bit as we get into the afternoon hours, and especially into tomorrow as well. So I'm going out to the big perspective here because I want to talk about the storms here. Located in Asheville. Appreciate it. Okay, I knew we'd have a connection. Love Asheville. First of all, my grandparents forever, and as a kid, we'd go up almost every summer. They had a cabin near Cashers. Glenville was the actual small community, right? And we go up there all the time. Love the mountains of North Carolina. We have a family friend who still owns a place in Banner Elk, and we really try and get there all the time. Obviously, very sad to hear about your devastation. We actually took, for spring break, myself and my family, my wife and my 2 kids, we went to Asheville, I want to say it was 4 years ago. We spent 3 or 4 days in Asheville, then we went up into the Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg area. But I hadn't been to Asheville in a while. We had always kind of gone to either the Cashers area or up towards Banner Elk. And I was like, I want to check out Asheville. Beautiful area. Love the barbecue. Love, is it the Sierra? What's the big brewer there? We got an Airbnb by that brewer. Was it Sierra Nevada? I forget exactly which one it was. But anyway, fantastic that you are covering that area. Salt of the earth kind of people. Hope you guys are doing well there. And obviously we hope you guys, are recovering from Helene. Trust me, I've had a lot of thoughts in those areas as much time as we spent up there. And actually, if you're just tuning in, this last 2 weeks ago, my family, we went back up to North Carolina for spring break again, but this time we needed to avoid the western mountains because, we're still getting the damage recovered from Helene. So we spent some time in Hanging Rock State Park and in Morrow Mountain State Park, a couple of areas we hadn't experienced before. So again, love North Carolina. And Garrett, who is a friend of the channel who jumps on from time to time as well, is actually in the foothills of North Carolina as well. We talk a lot about that area. But I want to bring up what's happening right now, guys. It's a dire situation in the Tennessee Valley. So we've had severe weather. If you haven't been paying attention, and I mentioned this in Monday's show as well, we have a dire situation, first of all, with the extremely high-end severe storms. Did you guys see some of the tornadoes that developed in Arkansas? I mean, high-end EF4, more than likely, we'll see how they all play out in the official, once we had the preliminary numbers, but we'll see what the official numbers come out as. Now we're going to see still moderate to high end severe weather, but there's a massive flood threat ongoing. Have you guys seen any of the pictures out of the Nashville area? It's not pretty at this point in time. It's good to see that some of this moisture is lifting north of Tennessee at this point in time, but portions of Arkansas and Missouri and Kentucky and the southern sides of Illinois all have that opportunity. When I show you guys the local storm reports out of this area, do you guys see all of these water droplets here? Again, that's going to be indicative of, and I need to get it back to the, let's see here. Let's just take a look at some of these here. 8.5 inches of rain in a 48-hour period, 8.8 in the last 48 hours there in Mayfield. You know, solid numbers there. I believe these are actual flood reports. Standing water over Liberty. Yesterday, Midtown Memphis was underwater. Nashville got hit hard as well. Now you can see some of these flood reports are getting up towards Cincinnati, right? Richwood Road near Richwood Church, water over the roadway. You're going to see a lot of these reports here through the Tennessee Valley and even kind of into the Appalachians. Look, we had some pretty nasty storms near Charleston yesterday as well. It's bad news here, and unfortunately, the situation is not going to get any better anytime soon. Right? When we look at the severe weather risk for today, so the flood threat is going to kind of eke up here, but back into Arkansas and the northeast sides of Texas, it's another moderate risk. Again, I have always stated I've never felt comfortable with how the SPC has issued these, meaning that the enhanced risk is the orange, the 3 out of 5, and somehow moderate is supposed to be worse. Which is 4 out of 5, but it is what it is. And then the 5 out of 5, which is a very, very rare day, but we had it earlier this week, is the high risk. We don't have that for today. But again, the problem is strong long track tornadoes are likely in this area, hail over 2 inches in size, anywhere from ping pong to baseball size hail, and winds even outside of the tornadic storms that could be well over 70 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, when we take a look at the significant tornado threat, this is it's never good to see this, and I've seen this way too many times already in late March into early April. There's a greater than 10% chance within 25 miles of any point within this polygon to see an EF2 to EF5 tornado for today. That's what the significant tornado threat is from the SPC when you see this polygon. But it obviously lays over that moderate risk as well. It's a very unfortunate situation. Tomorrow, it doesn't get much better. We stay with an enhanced risk, and it's not going to shock me if they throw it up to a moderate again as well. It shifts slightly further to the east, but you notice there's not real progression, and this is why the flood threat gets worse, because these storms aren't progressing, because the boundary is stalled out. We've got waves or kicks of energy coming out of the southern plains, especially out of East Texas, even in the Intermountain West with some mid-level energy to enhance what's going on. And then eventually, as we get into Sunday, we'll start to see that slight risk get a little bit farther southeast. We'll finally try and dry out a bit, especially western Kentucky, Tennessee, into Missouri and the Arklatex area. Now, of course, this starts to get closer to us, and this is where our chance for showers and storms moves back into the forecast beginning on our Monday. It is Sierra Nevada. Okay, I thought so. Slowly cleaning up. Some damage still noticeable. I know the scarring is unbelievable. The home that we stay at, as so many places were in Banner Oak and in many other areas, the bridge was wiped out, had to be completely rebuilt. You know, they had to put a temporary up just so people could get in and out. So we just, you know, you don't want to, I know that the area is coming back, but you don't want to be a problem. You want to be a benefit, and we'll return either sometime later this year or next year. There's no doubt about it. Blue Goose, yeah, the drone footage was amazing. Some of just, you know, storm chasers and the live coverage these days is phenomenal, right? Some people do it right, some people don't do it right. But, you know, to get the video that we're getting live on, you know, the air these days is absolutely amazing. Would like to contact you more outside of YouTube chat. Again, keep the good. Would like our contact information to measure. If you would like to get a hold of me, Highland Weather, I don't know if the email address is on our page, but I also do a couple of other pages. The main one that we've been doing for a little bit longer is called Media Mundo. You can find the link to that channel in the description below, and the email address is going to be on there, or it's just simply mymediamundo@gmail.com. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you're more than welcome to do it that way. Again, Media Mundo, link in the description below, and then when you go to that channel, you would find the information there. So I want to get back real quickly to this day one risk, because I also want to put on I have so many things here, and I just got to find it again. Stay with me. All right, here we go. And then let me bring this off. This is the excessive rainfall outlook, and this is kind of like the high-end severe weather risk, right? They don't issue this very lightly, and they've got this highest possible area for portions of Arkansas and southern Missouri. I just want to again point out the fact of how much rain this area could end up getting. It's going to be a problem when we look at the rainfall totals here on the GFS model. And again, this goes out 5 days, and the most I can show on the map is actually on this scale is 14 inches, but these yellows are a foot. It's additional rain. I want to be clear, this is starting now. How much more rain could these areas see, right? And just to kind of give you guys an idea. So it's a rough situation here. There's going to be, unfortunately, significant flooding that will continue in addition to all of the severe weather. Now for us, you start to see that eventually we get a little bit more rain back in the forecast as well. Now, this will not be coming until at the very earliest, late in the day on Monday. But if we're looking for some more rain, we've got it. And again, we need it, right? We'll take anything Mother Nature wants to give us right now. If I go back over to, just going to bring up the broad perspective real quickly here. And then bring up our drought monitor. Got to clear that off too, don't I? No worries. So when we look at our drought monitor, right, we did get a little bit of an update from last week. It's still not great, right? We've still got this sliver of kind of Brevard and Indian River counties, which would be considered to be okay, but everyone else is either abnormally dry or in some kind of a drought. The yellow is abnormally dry, the browns and the oranges are moderate to extreme drought. Again, a lot of areas have had less than 50% of their normal rainfall since mid-October, so we desperately need more rain in the forecast, but it's going to take some time before it actually gets here. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to bring up the HER model first. Might take me just a second here to get this all situated. Now, of course, the HER model is only going to go out 48 hours from this initiation time. My goodness, Rusty, what's going on today? So it's only going to get us out to Sunday morning. You're not going to see the rain come in yet. I'll switch over to the GFS here in just a second. Okay, so I see it. I'm actually looking at my own channel right now. I have a tablet right in front of me that you can't see. I think if you go to the homepage of CFLW, you should then see like the About section. And the About section should have all of the different links. Pretty sure, yeah. If you go to the About section, so if you go back to the home page of our channel and hit the About, you should see it. Now, I'm kind of in the administration mode, but I just saw it myself right now. I promise you it's there. Try and type it in real quick too. If you're having issues, let me know again. I can try and type it in, but I would literally have to key it in with a finger because I don't have a keyboard for that. I just have a tablet here. Blue Goose says they'll be following your storm chases. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not naming names. You found it. You got it, man. No problem. So is it very clear to see where the energy is coming out of? Look at this kick here. This mid-level rotation that gets shot out of the four corners and into Texas and Oklahoma. That's going to, again, cause additional extremely bad weather to develop here and then pull its way to the north and to the east, but very, very slowly. The progression through Sunday morning is not going to be that favorable. So let's take a look at our forecast, and then we'll get into when I'm going to expect to see some rain, and we'll talk about that kind of preliminary look at the hurricane season as well. So let's break down the forecast for Orlando for the weekend. Look, it's hot today. We're going to get above 90 degrees. Expect that in the Orlando metro area, including the attractions on over towards Sanford, Oviedo, UCF, Winter Garden, Ocoee, Apopka. you're going to be at 90 or above through Monday afternoon. So mostly sunny, hot tomorrow. We'll get a bit of a breeze out of the south, both Saturday and Sunday afternoons, which will drive the heat. Temperatures will barely drop below 70 for morning lows. We're up to 91. Now on Monday, we're going to start to see late in the day a few showers and storms developing. Most of the afternoon hours, at least through the mid-afternoon, will be dry, but mid to late afternoon and then to the evening hours, the rain and storms will begin to approach the area. Here's the good news. I'll be back on Monday at 1 o'clock, and obviously we'll be talking about that, and we'll see if anything has developed then at the 1 o'clock hour, and we'll be able to break down for you guys exactly how the timing of the showers and storms moving in on Monday will be, but just kind of developing throughout the day. For Tampa, it's actually very hot. Remember, Tampa right now is one of the hottest spots, so they'll hit 92-ish today, and I think they'll do the same thing for tomorrow as well. There'll be just a slight west breeze along the coast tomorrow, which again taps into the relatively cooler waters of the coastal areas, including, of course, the Gulf, which means their number will drop a bit to 89. But look, it's still stifling outside. The humidity will come up, so the feels-like temperature won't be any better on Sunday. And then again, showers and late-day storms likely for the Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater area. 87 the daytime high. Their morning lows the next 3 days do not drop below 70 degrees. For our friends up in Ocala, look, you think you get a little bit farther north is a little bit cooler? Nope, especially not inland. Sunny and hot in Marion County for tomorrow. Ocala, Silver Springs, Bellevue area, 92 the daytime high. Yes, it's slightly cooler in the morning. Get the morning jog in, get the morning walk in early. My friends in the villages, get the morning round of golf in early if you don't want to deal with early summer kind of heat over the weekend. 90 for the daytime high on Sunday. And again, Ocala being a little bit farther to the north and to the west will have a better opportunity for some midday storms on Monday. So that could be an area when I'm back on at 1 o'clock on Monday that at least the storms might be developing or approaching to. Now again, we'll look at the opportunity for whether these are going to be strong storms or not, but the rain chance will be there later in the day on Monday. They'll have a 50% chance. Then you kind of flip that to our far southeast areas and our friends in Titusville and Brevard County for the weekend. Look, again, easterly breeze just like today. It's a fantastic weekend. You want a little bit cooler weather, but still starting to see the uptick in the water temperatures as well. You get to the East Coast, 83 for Titusville, for Merritt Island, in the Atlantic areas as well. 71 in the morning low, up to 86 for Sunday, so slightly warmer. And again, most of Monday in the Titusville area will be dry, including the Cape, but a late day shower could begin to move in maybe late afternoon or maybe not even until the early evening hours. They'll get to 88 for the daytime high. It's Medio Mundo. Yes, it means weather world in Spanish. Because we cover the Caribbean, that was the thought process. Also to make the name stand out a bit as well. But yes, indeed. Okay. So those are the forecasts that I've got for you guys over the next 3 days. Let's go back over to the weather computer and we'll pick up with the GFS model. So let me bring up the GFS. And let's see, today is the 4th, right? 7th, we'll go out to the afternoon of Tuesday. How does that sound? So again, slow progression of the showers and storms, right? I showed you guys the Sunday risk, which is to our north and to our west. At this point in time, I can tell you this, Monday, Tuesday, the SPC does not have us in any risk for any severe storms. This is going to play out just like it has been, where this activity will be waning as it gets into our area, but we could still see some locally strong to even severe storms. The last several times that we've had isolated severe storms, we have not really been under any big risk from the Storm Prediction Center. The strongest activity should drift north along the East Coast, and I mean right up into New England as well. This is going to be a very broad system that comes through, but we'll have that opportunity. So again, let's break this down. Let me switch over to the model timeline here. So this is going to be early Monday morning, right? 5:45 in the morning. You can see that the GFS is a little bit quicker, right, than even what I'm calling for, where it tries to bring in a little bit of this activity in our northwest areas in the morning hours. I think for the most part, it probably holds off to the afternoon, but I can't rule it out right now. The timing is still a bit in question. So for our northern areas, could there be a shower or an isolated storm around before lunch on Monday? It's possible. But generally speaking, these are going to traverse our area through the afternoon hours. Now, again, still relatively spotty. The boundary kind of begins to stall a bit as we get into, late Monday and into early on Tuesday, right? With a few showers that could redevelop maybe in our southern areas on Tuesday afternoon. It all depends on where this front wants to stall and wash out. Right now, the thought is that it pushes far enough south where it's kind of South Florida that gets stuck with maybe some better rain. Now, of course, we could use that rain, right? But we'll probably still see a progressive system moving through our area, meaning that the front's not going to stall out right over us. There is an opportunity that potentially into mid next week, as this front stalls, moisture riding over it with south winds could re-energize it and push some moisture and some showers and storms back into our forecast for midweek. I'll have much more on that coming up on Monday's show. But again, the opportunity for rain and a few storms will begin to arrive sometime on Monday. I'm thinking more in the afternoon and evening hours. The GFS is a little bit more progressive, tries to drive it in somewhat in the morning hours, but this is when we have our next chance for some rain. And again, after seeing 4 or even 5 days in a row, depending on where you are, with daytime highs knocking on the door of 90 degrees or above, and the drought conditions that we already have into play, we could use this as well. Let's hope the fire threat doesn't go up any more than that. But that's the situation that I see for us here over the coming days. Now, I want to talk about kind of the beginnings of hurricane season. I know it's early April, but a couple of things to talk about with this graphic. The first thing is, okay, I made this for Media Mundo, so all right, that's good enough. So I made this for the Media Mundo one. Now my name's going to pop on as well. It's hilarious. It'll drop off in like 10 seconds. Don't worry. The World Meteorological Organization retired 3 names from the Atlantic hurricane list, and they're the ones that you would expect to be retired. Beryl, Helene, Milton. They're gone. Those are the 3 names that I expected to go by. John in the Pacific was also retired, but from the Atlantic list, Beryl, Helene, and Milton. They're going to be replaced in 2030 by Brianna, Holly, and Miguel. Remember, the names, the list of names rotates every 6 years, right? So we will next see this list come back up in 2030. Obviously, we're on to the 2025 list. But again, Beryl, Helene, Milton, the 3 retired names from the 2024 Atlantic list that will be replaced by Brianna, Holly, and Miguel. Now, obviously, we start to get some preseason predictions coming in, right? NOAA will start to issue their forecasts. Other private meteorological organizations will issue theirs. One that has kind of been the gold standard for a long time is Colorado State, right? And they have come up with their first shot at this. So when we look at this, you're looking at the average over the 1990 to 2020 timeframe, and the named storms number is 14 with 7 hurricanes and 3 major. Colorado State for this 2025 has come up with 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, 4 of those being major. So they are calling for an above average season. And I don't think that anyone is going to call for a below average or even average season. Again, we still have the heat content so hot, and it's just going to kind of start things off early again. So 17 named storms, 9 hurricanes, 4 major hurricanes. Other things will come into play. We'll get into more La Nina and El Nino over on the Media Mundo side, and obviously any tropical weather here. We'll cover it for you guys. But you go back and you look at 2024, last year, we had 18 named storms, but 11 became hurricanes and 5 were major. And I'm just going to jump to this side. This is where I think they're missing the forecast, right? The average, about 50% of your named storms become hurricanes. CSU basically has slightly above 50% of named storms becoming hurricanes. But in reality, last year, nearly 2/3 of all named storms became hurricanes. And I think that's what we're going to see. We just have so much juice right now that the storms that develop will quickly intensify, and a lot of those will become hurricanes. So I think we are looking more at that 60+%, maybe even running to 70% of all of the named storms becoming hurricanes. And we got to 18 named storms last year. And remember this, from mid-August to close to the end of September, we were in a tropical storm drought. We had no named storms for, I believe, close to 40 days. It was a record drought, if you will, in that time frame, and we still plugged our way to 18 named storms. If it was average during that time frame, we would have easily been in the lower 20s for named storms. Every single season is different, but I think that there's virtually no way that we stay at average for next year. Okay, so I wanted to break that down for you. When NOAA's first forecast comes out, I'll break that down. Now I'm going to have to come back here real quick and see if I can remember what I took off. Nope, we don't have a live storm chaser. Let's see here. Hold on. I mean, I probably should have just went with it anyway, but so we have all these layers that I can bring on and off, but obviously I made that graphic for the Media Mundo channel, which meant it went down from this lower third, so apologize for that, but I wanted to make sure that all the information was on the screen for you guys. So there you go, right? 3 named storms: Beryl, Helene, Milton, gone, replaced by Brianna, Holly, and Miguel in 2030. All right, so let's go back over to kind of break down again what's going to be happening for the weekend. I'm going to bring up our IR satellite and our temperatures. Again, you can just see, look at that big blow up there in the IR. You get to those oranges and those deep reds, and that is some really high cloud tops and some really bad weather there and storms that are developing at that time. So again, that's where all the bad weather is going to be. The interesting thing is on the north side of that front, temperatures are actually in the 40s. It's actually cool rain, but it's still falling, and it's going to be a problem in these areas. We're south of that big warm sector, this storm system, right, all the way into the Tennessee Valley, which is why all the severe weather is going to be developing here, obviously, in the warm sector of the storm system. And you don't have to be a meteorologist to know where that is right now. It's 55 in Dallas, but it's 78 to 80 degrees in Shreveport. You know, the boundaries is basically going to be draped across I-30 in areas to the south. So anywhere north, the severe weather is going to be much more limited to just winds. But anywhere south of that, you've got all modes of severe weather, including the large hail and the damaging winds to go along with the tornadic threat. We will enjoy a very beautiful but very hot forecast over the weekend. Again, current temperatures right now, and you can see those numbers, by the way, just rolling across the bottom of your screen, which are already approaching 90 degrees in a lot of spots. But we are in store for a lot of sunshine for the remainder of the day. Friends, CFLW, sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys, covering homeowners, condo owners, and associations across the entire state. Anything that can impact you or your property. So think about hail damage or hurricane damage. Maybe you have a burst pipe. Maybe you've been in an auto accident. They're going to walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. They do offer free consultation and policy reviews. We thank them for being the sponsor of CFLW, the exclusive sponsor of the channel through the first half of 2025. And if you want to support someone who supports the channel, you can go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Friends, we'll wrap it up on this Friday. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. Apply that sunscreen and find the shade if you're going to be outside, because it's going to feel a lot more like late May or early June than early April. I'll be back on Monday at 1 o'clock for CFLW The Show. Then we'll be tracking those showers and storms, either already in our area or closely approaching. I'll have a much better feel for whether any of those could be on the stronger or even severe side. And we'll talk about what the midweek will bring for us for next week. You guys have a great rest of your Friday and your weekend. And again, I'll see you guys Monday at 1 o'clock for CFLW The Show. Take care.